Hey you, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. For today's video, I decided to include a voiceover to talk a bit about the new Happy Home Paradise DLC and my experience with it so far. So first of all, I'm really loving this new DLC. It was a bit of a learning experience for me, and I tried to get used to some of those mechanics and come up with design ideas. I have barely used Harsh Island, so yeah, I needed to get a bit used to the new controls, or at least they are new for me. I also struggled in between with finding the right furniture pieces, but that is probably because there were both new items that I wanted to look at, and I didn't really have any access to too many different items, which was kind of sad. I was kind of hoping I would get access to all my catalogued items, but maybe that will change as I continue to renovate more vacation homes. It does, however, not take too long to unlock more furniture pieces. I have decorated 3 homes now, and for each renovation I did get some new items. The first vacation house that I renovated was for Eloise. She was my kind of tutorial villager, I guess, and I couldn't really avoid her. So I'm gonna guess that everyone has a different starter villager, but I'm not really sure. If you have started playing the new DLC, which villager did you end up starting with? If there are different villagers for each first time renovation, then I'm definitely okay with getting Eloise. She's a definitely cutie, and her yellow colors inspired me a lot for her interior. She wanted me to place 3 different items that weren't too bad, I think. And that was the bookcase, the book stack, and the rocking chair, I guess. And yeah, as you see, I ended up placing the bookcase with its back towards the door, so it wouldn't be so obvious, I guess. I don't really like how the books look in that bookcase for just a more smaller living room. So yeah, this way it didn't really take too much attention. And I did hide the stack of books right behind it, so that too could be a bit out of sight. As for her exterior, I actually completely forgot to do that when I first finished her renovation. I really thought that I had to finish the inside to be allowed to go back outside, but I guess not, so that was my mistake. However, I was able to go back to her after I finished my next vacation home, because that's when I got the app. So that is also when I actually fixed her exterior. So when I start on her exterior in this video, you will see that I might have access to a few more items than I had before. That is because I did my next villager's house as well. Now, as for all 3 vacation homes, I did keep it quite simple for the exterior. I actually used the in-game paths for the first 2 houses because I simply did not realize that I was allowed to use custom paths, and I also did not prepare any custom paths for these designs because I was really in the mood to just keep it summer and springtime, and all my custom designs right now are directed towards my I guess autumn town feel, so it is a lot of brick and stuff like that, so I didn't really want to use that in this case. However, it was kind of nice to try and use the in-game pads again, since I probably haven't used them this much since maybe the first month of New Horizons release. And yeah, like I said, I didn't really prepare any custom paths, so it was just for the better. Now as for Eloise's exterior, she had actually picked her own location, and she picked this tiny little island, which I really loved. It was a nice size island to work with. And I decided to keep it quite tropical, I guess, a bit beach-like. Yeah. But however, I did not use the sand as a path, the beach sand path. But I used this light dirt colored path instead, because I really liked how that color looked. It also seemed to match the border of the island a bit better than the white sand path. Again, I had quite limited items to work with here, so I actually just ended up using a lot of basic flowers and bushes, but I did end up using the new weeds, the glowing weeds I think they're called. And yeah, I think they fitted quite well in this exterior. Now as for the rest of the garden, I I don't know, I just placed around some random stuff. I even found those shells that usually lie on the beach just to fill it up. I really hope that I can unlock more items really soon, because this is kind of sad to work with. Was just not enough items to really get very creative with it. But again, this kind of brings me back to when I first started playing Animal Crossing, so it's quite nice for a change to just use whatever the game has to offer and, I don't know, take it as a challenge, I guess. I also changed up, of course, her exterior the exterior of her house, or vacationing house, and I ended up, of course, being a bit inspired by her colors here, so keeping it yellow. And then every time you finish a project, indoors or outdoors, you get this little preview that is made by the game itself, so I'm not in control of it, but I think it's really cute. So yeah, this is the interior. So that's when I first finished her house, and I barely had enough time to press record because I didn't really expect this cute little scene to happen. And then later when I got back, I got another scene of her exterior. So yeah, if you finish a renovation job inside, you get the inside preview, and if you finish the jobs outside, you get the outside preview. So if you go back and do the opposite one that you don't have, you have this entire preview of them showcasing your renovated house or vacation home. Now, as for my second villager, I had to pick someone from the beach, and I didn't really have anyone there that I really wanted, but I think Bob was kind of cute, so I decided to use him because I never had him on my island, I guess. So yeah, and I wasn't in the mood to start time traveling just to try and find a second villager. So yeah, he is the one I did next, and this time I actually started off with the exterior because that was actually where I was kind of dropped off. The first house with Eloise you kind of got with the tutorial dumped right inside, and that's kind of why I forgot totally to do the outside, I guess. But here I had actually the privilege to choose the location, and I ended up making it in spring because I really like the trees, or the tree colors, and I really like this area. It already had some of those dirt areas to plant flowers, I guess, and since Bob really wanted an indoor flowering or blooming indoor garden, it's called, yeah. So yeah, I thought I wanted to give him some flower patches outside as well. Now again, I kept his garden quite simple. I worked with the terracotta color pot flooring, which was always my favorite to use before I started using custom pots, but still I really love this color, and it fitted, I guess, the exterior of the house. It took me a while before I figured out how I could actually change the exterior of houses. Again, this garden I made before I made the garden of Eloise, because it took to get past one other villager before I got the app. And when you get the app, then you are allowed to go back and do changes, and yeah. So here I was still just struggling to learn on how the path system, the fan system and all that kind of worked, and I hadn't really spotted if you hover over an item you can press X to change colors, so that's kind of why I'm struggling so much by placing new items in different colors and all that kind of stuff. But in the end it came nicely together, and I really like how it turned out for Bob. Again, I do not keep all those colorful flowers. I actually make them all white, maybe white and yellow, I don't really remember right now. And I really like that the pop of color was coming from the bushes that kind of had his type of pink purplish color. I can't remember what that color is called. Yeah, but yeah, the bushes are really inspired by Bob's color, just to, I don't know, give it some thing that's, I don't know, feel like Bob. It's so hard when there's so limited items to fill up an entire yard or garden or whatever, so yeah. And I didn't really have my benches, so he got a cosmos seat or stool, I don't know what it is called. I don't remember item names. That is just nope. Now as for his interior, again he has also 3 items that he wanted to have inside for his blooming indoors. Yeah, I didn't really like the 3 tulips. The white one isn't too bad, the yellow one is still okay, the red one is kind of an eye catcher, so yeah. But I do think that I find a good location for that red flower to kind of not let it take all the attention, I guess. So yeah, and for him I kept it quite neutral, and again struggled so much with locations. I'm kind of looking forward to being allowed to change room sizes, because it's way too little space to make it a proper vacationing home. I tried in all 3 houses to keep a seating area and a sleeping area, but the rest just got filled up with whatever. In his case scenario, he ends up with a flower cooler or whatever it's called. I don't know, I didn't check the name, but yeah, I will be placing that in a minute. Also, another thing that I should mention is that the big potted plant that I also already placed with Eloise, that came with this update and this DLC, I guess, I actually ended up placing it in every single house. Again, I'm really limited in choices of plants and all that, but also I am definitely obsessed with that big potted plant. So here is me just trying to avoid using it, but in the end I just give in and I have placed it in every single house. So yeah, and that's the flower thing that I mentioned. I have no clue what it is called, and I didn't notice that I was allowed to recolor it, so it will be whitened a little bit. And yeah, trying to make it blooming without all my normal plants and flowery wallpapers, it was just really hard, and it was just a lot lacking. But again, I'm hoping it unlocks really quickly when I work a bit ahead. I think I might share the next 3 villages at least, and hopefully I have learned a few new techniques that make it a bit more unique again, because if it's gonna take a long while and I'm gonna be stuck with these square-like rooms with few items, then this DLC might start to become boring quite quickly. But again, I have my hopes high that I get some new items or more choices soon. Yeah, I really need more choices. And here I ended up placing the tulip on top of the cooler thing, I guess. That was just the best way for me to get rid of that pop of color. It was just a bit too red for me. I'm not really a fan of red. I guess I like the neutral color, so yeah. We'll be just hanging up a few more wall items. Again, those 2 are really lacking, but I like the new flower hanging thing that just popped up. And yeah, I think they're also lacking a lot of DIY items. I mean, all those Cosmos, no, the door hangers, those are here, but I don't really like using those. And here is his little preview of his room. Again, I think it's really cute with how they showcase the rooms, although they did mess up Bob's preview a bit, because yep, here it's a very beautiful couch, but again I didn't really need to see that so much of it, but again it was kind of funny. So, and the big potted plant, it's definitely my favorite. So yeah, as for my last villager that we will be getting to in a bit after we've seen his garden preview, that is actually the one villager that I decided to time travel a bit for, because I'm still not allowed to invite amiibos and villagers from my island, I guess. So I had to do it with whatever spawned on the beach, and I didn't really get anyone I really liked. So in the end I ended up settling for Azalea. Not sure if that's the way you pronounce it. And she's one of the newest villagers added. And she ended up being more of the more challenged renovations in this video, I think. I usually like getting inspired by the villagers themselves, especially the colors, but she is kind of this turquoise rhino, and she wanted to have green furniture, so not my top choice, but I decided to keep the challenge and make her room with green furniture as she likes. Now again, I did feel a bit weird doing the entire room in green, but yeah, I'm still happy with the end result. And again, because of the lack of items, I had to do with whatever I had access to, so her place feels like an indoor garden too, just like Bob's house kind of ended up like. That of course it wasn't too weird, seeing that one or two of her 3 items were the green garden chair and table, and I just ended up placing another chair. Just to, I don't know, fill up the space. It made more sense for me. I am however glad that from all the period items that she chose the wardrobe. If I had to place a specific period item, then I guess that would be the nicest one. It kind of fitted perfectly next to this little greenhouse thing. I don't know what it is, but I know that I want it. I haven't found it yet to buy, so yeah, I'm looking forward to more of those plant items in my game for my island. Something that I, however, did get a tiny bit annoyed with was when you go back and visit some of these villages, when you're allowed to visit them back, they actually give you presents. But all 3 of my villages, I of course visit them one more time to kind of tell them to remodel, so I could get this little preview area from both the inside and outside. And that's also when I would get the presents, and all of them gave me the most boring items they got in their room. So it feels like they gave something that I have placed, and I ended up with the yellow and white striped wallpaper from Eloise, and Bob gifted me the monochrome carpet, which I already, both those items I'm guaranteed already cataloged because they came with the base game. And I'm not sure what she gave me as Azalea, but again, I'm pretty sure it was either the carpet or the wallpaper, and I'm just kind of disappointed that I didn't get one of the cooler items that I placed in this these rooms, and they ended up giving me whatever came with the base game anyway. So yeah, that didn't really help too. Even though it's kind of cute that they want to give you a gift, they give the most crappy one they can give of all the items in their room, I guess. But yeah, I'm getting to the end of the interior for Azalea, I guess. And again, oh, there's so little items to pick from there. I have to use a few duplicates here and there, but again, I really loved how her interior ended up. And then of course it's only her exterior left, and here I actually figured out when I started doing paths that I was allowed to do custom paths. So yeah, it took a little bit before I found that out, but this is the path that I ended up using. And it's just a simple round stone print, I guess. It was the only custom print that I had in my collection that didn't feel really autumn-like, and that I knew that I wouldn't necessarily need to remove because it wasn't taking too much space. I'm just guessing that when I delete or change the custom path on my island, then they will probably change here as well. So in this case, I know that I'm probably not gonna get rid of it immediately when I change my designs on my own island, I guess. So yeah. Now as for her location, by the way, I did struggle a bit more with choosing her location. I ended up with a summer part or area where I kept summer going and daylight, of course, but I kind of like the end of this cliff here, and yeah, I just decided to play around with it a bit. But again, I'm keeping it very simple, trying to use a few of the new items that popped up with her, like that bicycle. I'm really in love with that item too. I kind of wish there were some flowers in that basket, but still, it looked really nice. And for a island vacationing area, it seemed kind of, I don't know, practical to have a bike to get around. So in her case I placed the normal weeds and again a few bushes. Here I actually shortly in a bit realized that I can change the bushes. I did not know that, but again, yeah, live and you learn. So yeah, and there isn't much special about her house. I kept the exterior colors quite simple as well. I just really was in a neutral mood. And yeah, that's kind of all the designs for today. And yeah, I of course hope that you enjoyed this video. Now, as I already mentioned, I still don't have the possibility to invite certain villages. I am also not allowed to have 2 villagers living together yet. But when I do have that possibility, which ones should I try? Are there any villages that I should keep an eye out on the beach or anything like that? Let me know in the comments down below. Now, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, of course. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you'll be notified whenever I post something new. Thank you so much for watching and I do hope I see you next time. Bye bye.